Welcome to my little video of the Silverstone 2025 Classic. This was Sunday, the third day of the event. I hadn't been to the Silverstone auction for quite a while. I think it was probably the last one I went to was before COVID. But I went to the first few. It was a bit sporadic from there on, but it's a good event. I didn't realise how expensive it was to go now. I must have forgot, but that was a bit eye-watering, to be honest. It's £105 or £110 each to get in. So it's not a cheap day out, and for a family, if you're going to be walking around eating and drinking, it is a very expensive day out. I don't know if they do any family packages. I probably should have looked into that first before making big claims. But yeah, just for two people to go in, and there was best part of £300 spent during the day. One of the best value bits I found was actually going into the iconic auction. First I was just looking, and then they said, it was £20 for two for entry, and including your just come to me, the auction catalogue. There was loads to see. There was loads of cars outside that were free to look at, but then when we went inside, there was lots. There was halls full of the cars. It was great. Also, that gave you access to the balcony over the new pits. I still call it the new pits. I mean, it's been there a while now, but I always think of it as the new pit complex. Which is a great place to view some of the racing from. I mean, you don't get to see too much of the corners, but you do get to see the final run to the line and the start. I thoroughly enjoyed the racing all through the day. I thought it was really good. There was some great cars on show there. I've got some clips of a few of the races I managed to film. The only problem with Silverstone is you only really get to see clearly from grandstands. You can watch on the side of the track, but there's catch fencing everywhere, so you have to excuse some of the filming because it looks like I'm filming it from inside an enclosure for a lion or something. But that's because this is a Grand Prix circuit, and excuse the phrase, but it's a big boy circuit. I mean, there's big speeds achieved with the fast cars on that track. It's even in a clubman car, humdrum cars with roll cages in and some decent brake pads and tyres, you can still get a good lick on at Silverstone, even on the national circuit. But the GP it really is great to watch the big stuff go. So when we went into the iconic auction hall, one of the first cars I come across, there was a couple of nice Cosworths, an Escort and a Sierra Sapphire. And in between was quite a rare car these days, a 1986 late 85, 86 model 928 S2 Porsche, the one with the run-out parts. Well, I say run-out parts, it wasn't. It was almost trialling new parts that were going to be going into the later S4 that was coming out the following year. It's a rare car to see now. It's always got a very, very special place for me in my heart because it was the first really fast car my brother and I ever went in as little children. I think we were probably 6 or 7 years old, and sat in the back of that when you thought a quick car was probably like your parents' Colton or Orion or Sierra. And I'm not talking Cosworths or Lotus, I mean just normal 1.8s or 2 litres, and you get sort of used to that, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to a V8 Porsche with 310 horsepower. It was it was eye-opening, and this was the 80s. I mean, it's not crazy quick by today's standards. Quite a few things were dusted off, but I still got a lot of time for them and a lot of love, and this was a really, really clean one, and it was lovely to see. It's a rare manual, non-sunroof model, got the sports seats, wide track rear suspension, and obviously being the 85 to 86 model, it's got the 4-pot Brembo brakes and various other odds and, pardon the expression there, bits that were going on to the S4, the goodie, shall we say. Limited slip diff was also in this model, and the very desirable wing seats, which I think make that car a really, really nice car and a great example.
Here in Sutherland, 15,000, heading up to Wigan, 15,000, fair one all, 15,000, and yours on.
As I don't think this S2 actually sold, it was being advertised with a window price all inclusive of 34,000. I assume that included all the fees for iconic auctions. It really was a nice example. If you see inside and outside paintwork, panels, it really was lovely to see a car in that condition still, because for a long time they were, I'm not saying mistreated, you get the odd ones that were still well looked after, but quite a few were swapping hands for only a few £1,000s, and they were being treated like it. And it was quite often to see one, and the interior be really rough, and the body panels and the paint was not great, wheels were knocked, and then all of a sudden, because they become cheap, kids were buying the wheels to go on other cars, and it was an unloved car for quite a while, and I'm hoping they stay. Well, they climb in value. I'm not saying I want them to become unobtainable, because I'd love to own one day, but it's nice to see them being looked after, shall we say, and restored and serviced well. So yeah, great car.
Telephone bill is in front of me. Right, strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen. I have 5,000 already bid, 5,000 I have now, 5,200. 5,000 I have with my commission, 5,200. Here we go, let's get ready. 5,200 I have. Lined up there and bids here with me then. I can start here. Sorry, Deb. I can start here at 12,000. Where's it bid? Here at 12,000. 12,000. 12,500. 12,500. 13,000. With you in Wigan at 13,000. 13,500. 13,500. 13,500. 14,000. 14,500. Here is my commission. Against you in Wigan at 14,500. Go 15 surely then.
Next to the 928 S2 was a lovely Japanese imported Escort Cosworth. It was really clean, nice, tidy car. I don't think it fetched crazy money in the end as far as the Escort Cosworths are going at the moment. From someone who actually owned one once. We're talking in the days when it was about, I think I paid 14 for mine. It was part exchange against a Westfield, but yeah, it was not crazy money. It only done 26,000 miles. And then I sold it for the princely sum of a smidge under 13,000 in the recession. It was a great piece of financial investment by myself there. I did myself out of a future of 50,000-60,000 pounds, but hey ho, these things happen. Dare say I'll never ever get to own one again, but I managed to do it when I was young and dumb and stupid, and yeah, at least I had one, I suppose.
At 14,500 with my commission bidder. Go again online. At 14,500.
It was quite interesting to see the Queen's old L322 Range Rover, 4.2 supercharged. I think it's 4.2, yeah, I think it's an earlier one. But I think it fetched 150 something, 170 odd with the fees. You know, I know L322s were on the rise, but price wise, but that was quite a jump. But it was Her Majesty's car, and it was just nice to see.
Here's this one. Start 2,000. Start 2,000. 2,000. Come on now. We're offering it 2,000. You're wasting out line. 2,000 pounds. 2,000 pounds. We're not winning it. 2,000. 2,000 now. 2,000. All the way from the line. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. 2,500. Staying out there. 3,000. 3,200. Ladies now.
The little 1983 XR2 was lovely. I got a real soft spot for that. I thought it was nice to see. It was, I believe, family owned and been restored, and they'd done a really good job on it. It absolutely looked brilliant. It was, yeah, great to see them, because I used to see them all the time when I was young. And as things go on, the next generation of cars become cheaper and they're faster and better handling, and the last ones just they start to become thinned out, and you just don't see them anymore. So yeah, it was really good to see that. It was in great condition. It looked absolutely brilliant. It's one of those that used to swap hands for next to nothing. You used to see those for in the hundreds. You know, a couple of £1,000 bought a really good one, but no, it was good. A great little car. The C46 M3 had just gone for a 1,500-hour restoration, and it looked absolutely amazing. I think it's sold for £33,000 or £34,000, which I know is quite a bit for an E46 M3, but this was absolutely mint, front to back, top to bottom, engine rebuilt, bodywork, interior is a manual as well. It was just a really, really great car. And I don't think in years to come that will look like a bad buy. I think he'll look like he was very shrewd and smart actually buying that, because over a long period of time that might seem quite cheap in maintenance fees, because you try and buy them now for like 12, 14, 15,000 pounds, and you will end up sinking quite a bit of money into it, repairing rust and dinks and interior, and then got all the mechanicals. So yeah, I thought that was really, really, really good car. That was a solid car for the money anyway. I don't think it was that bad. Obviously, if you look at it compared to a unrestored example, you might think, oh, that's too much money, but no, for the amount I'd gone into it, I think that was actually good value.
2,500. Sell 2,005. Not yours in Winchester. Sell you lead at 2,500. 2,600. Back on the telephone at 2,600. 2,600. Telephone lead at 2,600. 2,700. Back on the cell. 2,700. Against your line. 2,800 now. Norwich back at 2,800. Against you on the cell.
This 1982 UR Quattro Audi was apparently the first right-hand drive Quattro from the factory. David Sutton was doing conversions in the mid 1981. It said he was running the Rally GB team for Audi. He was, I'm not sure about Europe, but he was definitely doing Britain at the time, I think. But this had been restored and it looked great. Really nice to see an early UR Quattro, because they're very thin on the ground. Apparently it's hard to get hold of bits for them these days, so people are mothballing them more than anything. So yeah, really nice to see. Unusual colour as well, I liked it. Great car.
2,800. Any further bids then we'll sell at 2,800, 2,900. Online is 2,900. Sell 3,000 with you then, Joe. 3,000. 3,000. Against the sale again, is it 3? 3,1. Back on the sale with 3,1. 3,200. 3,200. 3,300. Back on the sale with 3,300. 3,400. 3,400. 3,500. Sale again, 3,500.
This 2004 S10 WRC Impreza Pro Drive car, so it's a full factory car, driven by Miko Hervin in Imperial. Hadn't sold. I'll try and write down how much it was. It was 280,000. I don't know if it's still for sale, but that's how much it had in the window with fees. It was up for sale for. The Pro Drive cars really are beautiful, beautiful cars to look at. The workmanship, detail, considering this car was about to be bounced off of rocks and raced around mountain roads, it really were special. Lovely car. It was great to watch them in period when they were out at full attack with the works drivers. It's such a nice thing to see. It's one of those, isn't it? It's lottery winning money. But if I had the money, I'd definitely have that. I mean, it's still road legal, isn't it? You can go out and enjoy the country roads, we say. It's not a crazy amount of horsepower, but you don't really have to brake much in that thing. So yeah, brilliant little car. It's lovely to see that again, actually.
4,000 for me. There it is. Lot number 613 for you then. The 1988 Volkswagen Golf is the Mark II GTI, the 8-valve. 3 more example here for you. Telephone's coming through then. Bids here with me at 10,000. Here we go. Here at 10,000. Here at 10,000. 10,000. No 500 anywhere else than 10,000. No 5. And 10,000. More lines off than 10,000. No. Any further bids at 10,000. No 500 anywhere else than 10,000. No. Telephone's been around. And 10,000. Charles. They're saying no. Well, frankly, you're getting 10,000.
The car parked next to it, the 1990 Andy Rouse engineering car, the RS500, the car he campaigned the last year of the Group A RS500s in the British touring car. Great to actually see that. I've only ever really seen it on TV because I was a little kid when that was racing around. I'm not sure if I saw it at Goodwood one year from a distance, but yeah, it was great to stand up, see it up close. It was having a mooch about it. Just one of those hero cars. Again, it didn't sell. I think it was 270 something thousand with fees. Oh, another one. If I had a lottery win, that's going in the garage. Absolutely adored that. I just love RS500s really as a rule, but yeah, mega car. Absolutely mega. Surprised it didn't sell. Got great history. Really was a car to have for years to come.
10,000. No offering more than 10,000, maybe. Don't believe it. 10,000. Any more base now. 10,000. Oh, all about it. 10,000 pass up for a friend. Multiple 614. There's the 5 like free for 1980 this. One of the hand for these one. Examples. What do you say for this one? Well, I could make 3,000 here.
Next to the Andy Rouse 1990 car was his teammate Guy Edwards' car from 1988, another Andy Rouse engineering car. Famous car from period. I believe it went racing down under after Rouse sold it, and then it was restored back to original British touring car colours. Not many years ago, I don't think. I don't know the full history, but yeah, it looked great. That did sell, so I don't know what the hammer price was yet, but great to see that. Lovely car. It's another one I'd love. I'd love an RS500 road car. Be happy with the Sierra Cosworth. There's days and weeks in my life I'd be happy with the Sierra 2-litre Giao, let alone a bleeding RS500, but hey ho, that's life.
3,200, 3,200, here with me, 3,200, 3,200, lovely, someone listening, 3,200. Do you know it's often with the fresh OT as well? This year, August, when that comes, 3,200, 3,500, it doesn't mean that 3,500. That 3,500, yeah, it's 3,800. 3,800, so it's what? 4,000, that's very right. 4,000, that's really now 4, okay, 4,200. Here's a 4,000, and you love little Fiesta Fighters. 4,000 to win. That's 4,000 pounds, so 4,200. 4,200, thank you. 4,200, still ahead of me out there online. Against your phones for now, 4,200. We're 4,500. It's a 4,200 then here, it's a 4,200. 4,500 now, surely. 4,500, 4,800. 4,800. Any further bids? Go 5 anyway.
Also sold in the auction, I think, on the Saturday was the ex-Carlos Sainz Lewis Moya 1997 Escort WRC car. These were one of the last ones built actually by Ford at Boreham before the contracts was signed, I believe, with M Sport before it moved to Malcolm Wilson. And I think the cages were changed and various other bits and bobs on it, but just a iconic car. Seeing it in period, seeing it at motorsport shows, and yeah, it's fabulous to see that car. Again, I'd happily pay £20 to go and have a walk around and have a look up close to these cars, because it was quite quiet. If you picture moments, you could just go and stand there and have a nice look at it. It was an iconic car. It really was in a period of golden era of rallying for me with the 90s, 80s, 90s. I loved it. It was full of characters, full of fantastic drivers, and the cars you could go and buy those cars. They were actually for sale at dealerships. I'm not saying the actual WRC variant, but there was a homologated road car. So there was the Subarus, the Lancer Evos, Delta Integrales, Escort Cosworth, Sunny GTIRs. Yeah, it was great times. I miss the era of the homologated road cars. car. It was well, it's not so little. It's not tiny. Not in its day anyway. It's not big these days, but in its day it was quite a big car. It was this Mark II 3.8 Jaguar race car. I think that only fetched 30 odd thousand. It's a very usable car. There's a lot you can do with those, with road tours and vintage classic racing. There's plenty of avenues for that car to be used in competitively and just for fun on the road. It's not going to shake you to death and break your teeth every time you hit a pothole like it would if you took a modern race car down a public highway. But yeah, great to see that car. It looked like a lot of fun for the money. This 1984 Manta 400 is very me. I think it had a right-hand drive conversion. Oh, I love this thing. I really did. It's great. I've always liked Mantas. I think they're brilliant. I blame Harry Vatanen for my love of the Manta as a small child. This XJ40 race car was really quirky. I didn't even realise they raced them. It was great to see. There was another car I used to see them about. It was an Executive Express when I was a young boy. When they first came out, I used to see people who were the managing directors running their XJ220s, and to see one as a race car was great, brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Quirky car. I don't think it was up for a lot of money either. It was 12 or 13 grand I think it sold for, so yeah, it's good value. While walking over to the iconic auction area, I was watching I think it's down as the Tourist Trophy race, is what it would be. I believe it's at Goodwood Revival. It was a great three-way battle between a AC Cobra, it's YT type, and a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase, and it was good fun to watch. It's a long old walk around Silverstone if you don't take the buses. I will say the buses were regular, but it's nice to have a walk. It's a nice day. Walking around the outside of the track, or in between, actually, it's in the infield. It was good to watch the battle unfold. It would have been nice to have watched this one from a grandstand, but I was told the auction was starting. I can't remember what time it was, but I was told it was starting, so I had only a set period of time to get a wiggle on and get myself over there. But I kept stopping at various corners and watch a lap or two, and then keep walking and watch a lap or two from another vantage point. It was hard to get somewhere where you could film clearly without the fencing obscuring the view, but you have to deal with what you have to deal with, and that was there, so yeah. My race of the day was the touring car race. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. At this point, we were stood above the pit. On the balcony there. I'm sure it would cost an absolute arm and a leg to watch the Formula One from this viewpoint. So it was great to be able to watch this as all part of just going into the iconic auctions. That £20 actually turned out to be good value because I spent most of the day either mooching about the cars, watching the auction or watching the racing. And so in between the action there was plenty going on in the halls. It was really good. There was loads of cars in this race. Some really iconic cars as well. I know it was iconic auctions, but there was a Rouse 500 in there. There was a Batmobile 3-litre CSL BMW. There was the RS30 100 Capri that was having the wheels driven off it. There was loads of M3s, E30 M3s, some really, really nice ones from various parts of the world that they raced in different configurations. You could kind of tell the more powerful ones by just how loud the induction roar was and the bark. It was brilliant. Really good to see so many out and having their legs stretched and being driven well. And it was going back from the 70s right the way through to the early 90s. There was a Cavalier, I think it was a Courier Coast car, the ex-Leslie car, I'm pretty sure. But it was great. There really was a lot going on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think there was a boring lap for me. It was great to watch that one from above the pits. At the early part of the race, the Batmobile 3-litre CSL and the RS30 100 Capri started to gap the RS500 Sierra, which I was quite surprised at considering the length of the straights at Silverstone and the age difference between the cars. So it was actually quite surprising to see just how fast the Capri and the BMW were. I'm not sure at one point, because I wasn't where I was sat, and also couldn't really hear the commentary too well from where I was, but the BMW and the Capri seemed to drop back into the further down the field, and the Sierra seemed to be up front. The BMW did make a bit of a fight back. The Capri was quite a bit further back than the BMW, and he was charging so hard to catch back up. It really was some brilliant driving on his part. It was actually, I'd say, probably my drive of the day. It was great. The E30 M3s, the noise, oh, just down that straight, you could hear that gear after gear. That was enjoyable to watch. This was the finish line with the Capri absolutely charging to get back past that Camaro. It was some fight back. I can't keep going on enough about it, to be honest. I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed his drive. It was great to watch him. It was no sympathy for that Capri. He absolutely thrashed the nuts off that thing the whole race. It really was impressive to watch. The F1 race was for, I think from what I could see, they were DFV engined cars. It was pre-84. I didn't see any turbo cars, so I really didn't spot them. It wasn't a very long race. I think some of it was under the safety car or virtual safety car. It's just nice to see them. They're not having the wheels driven off them. They're being driven very, very fast. They're not like they would be in period. Bits must be very scarce for them. So yeah, that was good to watch, just to see them out and about. With the XLMP cars, the Le Mans prototype style cars, they were fast. They really were fast. They stood out so much during the day by just how little they were braking anywhere and the downforce they had. So that was something to watch. Great, some good drivers out there as well in that one. In terms of where to place a hotel, the Hilton Garden Inn at Silverstone, I think, is absolutely perfect. What a place to have a room. If there's an event on and you can just watch from your bedroom, I mean, brilliant. You can have lighting until you hear the engine start. Great idea. And I dare say it's seriously expensive when the F1's on.
And the tyres are wider as well.
At the end, well, there was a race actually after this one, but we were leaving, and it was the modern GT cars. I can't remember what the title was of it in the race. I didn't actually buy a race program. I bought the auction catalogue instead. They were really on it. The guy at the front in the Huracan, he was on it as soon as that flag dropped. He was going for it. It was a good race. Some very competitive drivers in that one. They were bunched up attacking each other at all angles. They must have been watching their mirrors everywhere, because I say Silverstone is a quick circuit, and yeah, that was much respect for that. With some really good drivers amongst them. As a bit of a summary for the day, as I said earlier, it's not a cheap day out. It is expensive, but there is a lot to see, and because it's Silverstone, you do get your steps in. There's plenty of buses. You can't fault them for that. There are double deckers running all the time and up and down the infield, so everything's laid on in that sense. And there's a lot of car clubs on the outside and the inside of the circuit. And I say that the iconic auctions part I actually thought was good value. I know it's an extra £20, but I've been to a lot of car auctions over the years, and the amount of cars that were consistently coming through all day, and the speed in which they do it, it was very good. It wasn't boring. They're very good at their job, evidently. So yeah, you've got a cafe above where the auction hall was, so you can nip in out to get coffees, and also you got access to the balcony. You could see inside with the pits. It was a lot going on. It was good. I say it isn't cheap. It's not a cheap day out, but some of the cars you do actually get to see race. It was the price you pay. There are places to go and watch it cheaper, but you don't have the show side. You don't have the auction. You will just be stood on the side of a track watching them race. If you just want to watch the track action, they're not trying to sting you with grandstand entries. It's all part of it. You can just go in and sit down and watch, and there's food readily available everywhere. It wasn't as many toilets as I remember the last few times I went to the Classic. Being honest, it was lots and lots of food outlets, and you'd have rows of toilets. Before, I remember there being lots of portaloos dotted about, but there wasn't this time. So I don't know if that's a thing for this year or they've been doing it for a few years. I would go again if I have the money. I'd like to do a couple of days actually, because there was a lot I didn't get to see because of the racing, and I missed. I should have factored that the racing was going to go on longer, but I hadn't, so I had to get back. So we left about 5:30, I think, 5:45, something like that. Traffic wasn't too bad, luckily. It's not like trying to get out of the MotoGP there, which I think took us about nearly 4 hours at one time on a Sunday to get away from that. Just drove in, drove out. It was a good day. I really enjoyed it. Weather was with us as well, which was nice. So it was a pleasure to be walking about. It wasn't too hot and it was nice and sunny and dry. So yeah, it was a good day. And thank you for watching.